Canvas. Today's showcase will feature faculty who have been using Canvas for a couple of months. We have 4 faculty from across the schools that will share their experiences with you. We will also have a representative, Danielle Lentz, from Instructure Today, that will discuss best practices on using Instructure help desk resources and the Canvas Commons. So Danielle, we want to welcome you today. I'm going to share my screen, everyone. And okay. So this is our, excuse me, this is our agenda for today. Wait a minute here. We'll have welcome and introductions. You've seen one, but then Danielle will talk about Canvas support and help resources. We have 4 faculty that I really want to express sincere thanks to today. Julie Simon from CAS, Don Che Mushanga from CPA, Wolf Petcher from CAS, and Danielle Fowler, who will talk about their experiences using Canvas today. Then Kathleen O'Neill will discuss the multi-tool overview that will help you build out your course and provide, and also show some design plus examples. I will then conclude the meeting with talking about self-support that is available to you in upcoming training that will be offered by SELF. First, I would like to introduce a new colleague to you, Bev Horig. Bev is a new instructional designer with the team. Bev, would you like to say a few words to everyone?
Sure. Thank you for the introduction, and hello, everyone. Bev Herrick, and I come from another university. I've spent about 20 years in higher ed, doing instructional design, instructional technology, faculty support and training. So I'm really excited to get to meet all of you guys and be able to work with you. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, thank you so much, Bev. Bev will be working with the team to provide consultation services for the faculty staff across the campus. All right, now we have Rachel Lynch. And like I said, Rachel is with Instructure, and she is a customer success team member assigned to UBalt, and she will talk just briefly about some of the best practices in using the Canvas help desk and other resources.
Awesome. So I'm going to share my screen, if you can just give me permission. Let's see. Looks like I still need permission to share my screen. But okay, while we get that set up and running, oh, awesome, now we have it. Okay. So would like to introduce myself. So my name is Danielle Lentz, and I am part of, like was said previously, part of your Canvas customer success team. So really happy to be here with each of you today. So my background, I did come from higher ed as well as K-12 in both the communication and also STEM settings. So really happy to be with you all here today. I've been with Instructure now for almost 3 years. I was previously on the training team, and so now part of the overall customer journey. So really happy to be with each of you today to kind of walk you through some best practices for engaging with our Canvas support team, because we know that questions are going to come up when you're interacting with Canvas, especially as you are working, going from one system to another. We know that that comes with some questions. And so we know that as a former educator, I know that my questions are not always during normal working hours, right? We might be, working on a Sunday, unfortunately, or at 7 o'clock at night while we're watching reruns of Jeopardy. And so wanted, to make sure that you know how to get help when you need it. And so what I've done is I've gone in and acted as one of you, so you can see in real time what it looks like when you have a question that comes up with Canvas. And so at any time when you have a question, you can click on this little help menu. And one of the awesome things that your institution has purchased is what is known as Tier 1 support. So I like to call this our Black Cadillac of support services. And so what that allows you to do is it allows you to chat with our Canvas support team. So if you have a question, you at any time can click on chat with Canvas support, and a chat menu will appear and you can engage with our support team with whatever question that may come up. And so I do often get the question of, when should I be contacting Canvas support? So with your Tier 1 subscription package, you can contact Canvas support when something doesn't work. So if you're noticing something's glitching or maybe something's not working the way you anticipate, you'll want to make sure you are engaging with our support team. You can also engage if you just have general how-to questions. I'll also show you a different way to get those answers if you didn't want to necessarily hop on the phone or would chat with someone from our support team on to look at for the information yourself. I'll show you that as well. But again, general how-tos, when things aren't working as anticipated, you'll want to reach out to Canvas support. And so, like I said, you can do that with the chat functionality. You also have your own Canvas support hotline. And so this is a number that is unique to your institution. This number, I also want to point out, is to stay internal for your institution. So if you have, a buddy that's working at a different college or university, don't want to be sharing it with them, because the information that our support team will provide you is also based on the information provided from your institution. And so want to make sure that we're not, getting that information out there to other institutions. You also have the ability to report a problem as well. So this is where if maybe you don't want to engage with support, you just want to say like, hey, it's not working, it's not impacting my workflow right now, but I do want you to know that something isn't working. You can do that as well. And so I see a great question here in the chat. And so what are the days and hours we can contact support? So the answer is in the chat. It is 24/7. So 24/7, 365 days a year, you can contact Canvas support. And so again, this was purchased for you by your institution. And so that's the other thing too, is not all institutions choose to get this support plan. So coming from one LMS to another, you're very lucky to have this kind of support plan, and already seeing from Julie that the support is really great, which they are. They work very efficiently to answer your problems. And if, for example, you're working with an agent and the issue is, maybe bigger or more complex than they initially anticipated, there are different levels of support that you can work with. So you'll always start off with level 1 or an L1 agent. So that's your basic issues, your how-to questions. And then if there's things that are more complex, it'll go to L2, L3. And so sometimes when you're working with an L2 or an L3 agent, the response time may be have a little more of a lag. And that's just due to, we need to send it to our engineers. They need to work on a problem, create a fix. So this way you can enjoy Canvas to its fullest ability.
Yeah.
So yes.
Excuse me, Rachel and colleagues, one thing I would like to say with the tickets, once the tickets are created by Instructure, they also do capture the context or the text of the discussion. So if you want, if you can't remember exactly what was said when you talk with the agent, that will be captured in the ticket and it will be sent back to you as well.
Correct. Great point to point out there. And additionally, just some additional best practices when working with support. One, obviously, if you are engaging with that live chat, want to create as many details as possible for our support agents. The other thing is, when applicable, is provide a screenshot or a screen recording for our agents. And that's just because we all know that everyone describes everything differently, right? I can describe a flower very differently than the way a student would describe a flower. And so we want to make sure that our support agents are understanding your problem to the best of their ability. And they deal with thousands of cases every day. And the way a client may describe an assignment is going to vary based on who's describing it. But that visual will remain constant no matter how you're describing it. So when in doubt, provide visuals to our support agents. It'll definitely make your experience a lot more seamless, and it'll help support get to the root of the problem a lot more easily. The last thing that I wanted to highlight is if you have just general how-to questions and maybe you're like, like I don't necessarily need support, I just need to know where to go so I can find the answer to my question, I would recommend searching the Canvas guides or asking the community. And so when you click search on the guides, it's going to take you to our Canvas community. And our Canvas guides, a great way to describe them is think of them like the Canvas encyclopedia. It's going to be the absolute most source of truth for all things Canvas. And you can search by your role. And so everyone on this call will be the instructor role. And so here you can get the instructor guide. There's also how-to videos that you can utilize. And then if you're using any of our mobile apps, you can also get guides on the mobile app as well in troubleshooting. In the instructor guides, you'll notice that there is a table of contents. And so I'll click on one of these here, new analytics. And so what I'll do is I'll click on how do I send a message to all students based on specific course criteria. And so here you'll be able to see that step-by-step guide in terms of how to check this feature out inside of Canvas. The one thing that I would make sure that you note is this blue box here. And so this blue box is not only going to give you a summary, but it's also going to give you any caveats that you should be aware of when utilizing this feature. And so I always want to make sure instructors know that. So this way, if something's not working as anticipated, you will want to make sure that you're utilizing that note section to check for any caveats. So I know that my time is just about up, but I did want to leave a minute or two in case anyone had any questions for me on Canvas support or how to find information inside of Canvas. Or if there's anything else you needed me to show you real quick.
Okay. Are there any questions for Rachel before she leaves us? Okay. Well, I don't see anyone's hand up. So Rachel.
Okay.
Yeah, I did want to thank you so much for coming today, sharing this information with our colleagues as we continue to transition to Canvas. This was very helpful. Thank you.
Awesome. You're very welcome. I'll talk to you all soon. Have a good day.
Okay. Bye-bye. Okay, colleagues. And now we will have our faculty panel. Our 4 colleagues will share their experiences using Canvas. The first colleague will be Julie Simon, who will talk to us about using quizzes. And I'll stop sharing my screen now and make sure that everyone can share their screen as well. Okay.
All right, let me just grab my screen. I've been using quizzes a little bit this semester, and I found out a couple of really nice things. So I'm going to go through those rather quickly because I got 5 minutes to do this. You can get to your quizzes in a number of ways. I'm going to show you, this is a quiz I built for my video class. And one of the things I really like about this platform more than Sakai is I can ask all kinds of questions. So in this case, I wanted the students to shoot a shot of a close-up. This is a video production class. They can just take that on their phone. They can drop it in. I can put up an image and they can explain what's going on. I can ask a question using images. I can ask just a plain old essay question, and I can embed a YouTube video. So this has been something that I've really, really liked. And the grading of this is really easy. The other thing that I want to show you is uploading blocks of quizzes. I know in my communication technology class that I have a text file from Sakai where I could just upload, I could build the quizzes, in text, in a text editor, and they're all multiple choice or true false, and you can just batch upload them. And I'm just looking from my chat window. I did a handout for this because I'm that kind of person. So I just threw that in the chat on how to upload quizzes, but all of this was done in a text editor. And it comes out, really nicely. The other thing that's really nice is this little column. You can click here and it shows you all your questions. Then you can go through and look at the various questions. Let's say the point value is off here. You can just click somewhere in the point value, just anywhere in the question, and change the point value. If you come back up here, it's telling you what those point values are. Like this one is wrong. This should be 10 points. So I can just click here and I can go back over here and make it 10 points and click done. So you don't have those outliers that are wrong. And yes, I'm a Muppets fan if you are actually reading these questions. You can look at each question individually. If you have them on separate pages, you can edit them individually. And then you can set settings. So do I want to shuffle the questions or shuffle the answers or have one question at a time? Do I want to allow them to go backwards and forwards? Is there a time limit for the quiz? Can they clear out a section? Can they have multiple events? So that's all really nice. And then you get a report, which probably has nothing in it because this is in my sandbox, because I didn't want to put real student information up here. But it does give you a report of the right and the wrong answers and who did what and how long people took. So that's all really, really easy. And that's pretty much what I have to say about quizzes. Any questions?
Yeah, Julie, I don't think your document was shared in the,
Yeah,
okay.
I just had to hit the send button.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much.
This document, let me just reshare for a second. Hang on. This is that quiz document. And what I've done with that is put tips and very specific directions and links, these under the hood links that you can go to. Doing these bulk uploading of quizzes is, oh, I didn't share that, sorry. I have the under the hood. These are all hot links.
Mm-hmm.
You can add things to banks. If you follow my directions, you'll get it. It's the only thing that I have found that is a little bit more screwy than Sakai. Everything else in Canvas, I love, and I hate Sakai right now. Like totally, and I've ghosted it. Quizzes are a little more tricky, but once you've done one, it's not hard. Like the first one's a little weird, but after that, it's easy.
Okay, great. Yes, Alan.
Julie, does it grade it for you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Unless
good.
it grades it if there's an answer. I mean, it'll grade
Oh,
like
yeah.
multiple choice or true false. It's not going to grade an essay exam. It would
No,
grade
no, I
it.
know. True,
like a-
false. Okay,
Yeah, it'll grade it for you and it will put it in the grade book.
excellent.
Yeah,
And-
and Sakai did that too.
Sakai does that anyway.
Yeah, but it handles all of that. It'll grade it for you, and then you can grade questions in the speed grader. Speed grader is the most awesome thing ever when you get into grading.
Hmm.
It is
Colleagues.
really awesome.
Sorry, Julie. Don Shay is going to talk about grading today, okay? And she is next. So Don Shay, you are on.
All right, can you guys hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. I'm going to share my screen and good afternoon and thank you for attending. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so for this semester, I'm piloting one of my classes. Class is Human Services Management. And one of the early assignments that students have to do in this course is to complete a nonprofit versus for-profit comparison analysis. So this is an example of what it actually looks like. As you can see, I've set up the assignment as well as the guidelines. And here they can actually download the actual paper And I also gave them the rubric, but please be advised that you can also use one of the templates that is provided in the assignment section as well. All right. So when I'm ready to grade, you will go to the right-hand side to where Speed Grader is. And I uploaded an assignment just for this presentation for the confidentiality purposes. But I just wanted to show you basically what it would look like with the student submitting an assignment. So when I'm ready to grade, you can basically go in. For example, if I wanted to highlight something, I can highlight, and I can even leave a comment for the student. Please add APA citations. All right. So you can go in and do that, but it gives you a lot of different options as well, to where you can kind of highlight things that you want to draw students' attention to. There's also a text box where you can actually type other things in. And then this allows you to select a certain amount of material on the page and comment specifically about that. Now for the grading, you have the option of giving students an actual grade, or you do not have to. It's not a requirement. But in regards to leaving a comment in regards to the overall assignment, I might leave this comment here, that they did a wonderful job. And let's say I want to do a smiley face. It allows you to add emojis as well and hit submit. All right. So basically, this is what a graded assignment will look like, capturing whatever it is you want to provide to the students to draw their attention to. Here you're leaving overall comments for the student as well as a grade. So now that that has been submitted, I can go back, because now I'm in the actual professor mode. But let's say I wanted to go to student view to see what the student sees. In here, this is basically providing an overview of the very comment that I just stated. So again, students can view the feedback provided here as well, but it will pop up as soon as they open it. But then they're also able to see that same feedback as well on that assignment. So if they scroll down, it's provided here. So that's just a brief overview of how I use grading in Canvas. Do you all have any questions?
Don Shay, I do have a question.
Yes.
You have used the speed grader, and I know that it does speed up, the grading process. Have you used the speed grader in the giving feedback? Have you used the audio feature? Okay, all right. I just did want to, if you would go back to the screen where the speed grader was.
Okay, let me share my screen again. Sorry.
Okay, great.
All right.
Okay, right above where it says reassign, go back to the speaker icon. Yeah, right there. You should, or that must be for, oh, I see, speech to text recognition. Yeah, so but I do think the second one, I do think you can do a recording as well. Yeah, so you can do a recording and upload comments as well. So colleagues, whether you provide text feedback or audio feedback, both allow and enhance instructor presence in your course. Let them know let the students know you're engaged with what they're doing. And so when you don't record me, Donche, but when yeah, but this is very easy to record your voice and then provide comments that would be meaningful to the students. So I just did want to highlight that as well. All right. Thank you very much, Don.
Sure, no problem. Thank you. It's definitely a great feature.
Okay. All right. Our next colleague is Wolf Petcher from CAS.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. So I am showing to you today something that I try to do, that is integrating text from our University of Baltimore Pressbook site. So if you are doing something like open educational resources, or if you have a text that you want to share just with the class, but you can generated in Pressbooks, and fortunately Canvas and Pressbooks do talk to each other. So what you see right here is a sandbox of my one of my biology classes, and I did create a textbook, or adopted the textbook from a PDF source in Pressbooks. And now there are multiple ways you can integrate this in Canvas. One of them, of course, is, and that might be interesting to you when you want to just do a share the entire book, you can create links to this textbook. Here I just created a link. In this case, I created just a hyperlink to that textbook, and that should bring you straight to the site, and the students then can read this book. However, what I also find interesting, or found interesting to for me specifically, is you can also integrate the entire textbook or chapters of the textbook into your Canvas site, so that makes it a smoother or more a smoother appearance for the students. And so basically all you need to do there is you can go to your textbook here and export the textbook in Pressbooks or your document. Sorry. And then there's this feature, I don't know if you can see that feature down here, that feature says here, common cartridge links with Canvas. When you click that, and then you can export your textbook, and you will get hopefully no error messages. And then you can download what is called a common cartridge. So once you downloaded that, you save it on your hard drive. And then once you're done with it, you can then export this just as if you would import stuff from Sakai. You can import it into your class. There are two ways to do that. You can either go to your home page and use import existing content, or you can go down to the settings and you will see a similar thing that says import course contents. So either way you do this. So if you would import the existing course, what you see here, you to select in the content type, you select the common cartridge package. Of course, now you have to browse. Let's just click on that and then select all content. And then you click on import. It will take a while, depending on your internet speed, but in the end, you will hopefully see something like this where it's complete. And once that is done, what Canvas does, it actually then creates modules for your textbook, or for your text, depending how your text is organized. For Pressbooks, you can organize it in parts or in chapters. So each part will become a textbook chapter. And when you scroll down here, you see those chapters that I imported. And then you can either have them leaving like that, or later on, and I think today we're also talking about the multi-tool, you can also then go ahead and basically take those different textbook chapters, and if you wish to include them, let's say in a weekly lesson like I did here, you can move them up to the weekly lesson and, for example, put those textbook chapters in that weekly lesson. And then you want to see how the students then would view this. When the student clicks on there, it basically just within Canvas, it brings them to the textbook chapter. And then they can just basically read the textbook. And it includes everything. So if you do have, for example, what I have here, some review questions, which is in this case, it's a H5D. They can take that quiz, but that is all hosted on Pressbooks. It's not hosted on Canvas, it's hosted on Pressbooks, but also is nice because then you don't clog up all the Canvas space. Now, another thing I would like to mention here is, and which we are probably not there yet, and I will be working with the Canvas team once we have Canvas running on the campus. Pressbooks and Canvas also talk to each other, so that if you do have interactive questions in one of your Pressbooks modules, Canvas can be set so that these can be imported into Canvas as an assignment and move into the iteration. But this again will be something that we probably will be dealing with once Canvas is running. So there needs to be some tweaks on the Canvas side. I also
Okay.
want to point out really quick in that regard, because talking to the Pressbooks, our Pressbook setup is as such that if you don't want to have your content publicly made available to the world, you can keep it private, and you can actually then only invite your students for that class. So if you have text you want to share, that's one thing I like to do, that's for sure. So that's all I had to say here.
All right, well, thank you very much. And colleagues, we will close this particular portion of our presentation with Danielle Fowler, MSB faculty member, and she will explain the before and after, of course, working in her course.
Okay, hi everybody. Let me find the right thing to share. Okay, so what I wanted to do is just spend a couple of minutes to talk about the conversion process. I know some people might not have seen it yet. This is my course for this semester, if you're wondering. So this is just my organization. So here's a homepage. Here are all the modules. If you go to the modules section, you can see everything's laid out with, you know, all the right items in the right places. So you add a quiz, you as an assignment, and so on. Canvas is very heavily based on modules. You put the things you want in a module. You can organize it by week, you can organize it by topic. Doesn't matter what module organization you use, but you end up attaching everything to a module for students to be able to see it, for them to be able to use it. So if I can show you, let's go to my dashboard, what a converted course looks like. And here is a course conversion of a couple of weeks ago. And I must mention right now that the first time I saw a conversion, it was terrible. This one is better, and I believe it's better again in the last pass. So K16, the organization that's been assigned to help with the course conversion, has been improving this as it goes along. Okay, so that's good news. But just as an example, often things in a conversion course, and this is what everybody will get in a sandbox if you have a course copied over from Sakai, things tend to arrive in the assignments list. Everything's an assignment. Not everything comes across perfectly. And as I said, it's getting better. But for instance, you see quiz 1 retake here, but not quiz 1. And it didn't turn up in quizzes. So it's not a perfect conversion. This is not necessarily a problem. Okay, so there are ways to do it. So instead of looking for a quiz that may not appear as a quiz, question pools will transfer. So you recreate the quiz and use the question pool that is available. So just in terms of process, the way that I found is definitely going to be the most efficient is you want to make sure, like if you start with the syllabus for the course, you know all the items that will be in the course. You'll have quizzes, you'll have assignments, you'll have discussion forums, whatever it is you've designed your course to have. Use that template and put in placeholder even items for all of those things with the right dates. Everything will propagate into the schedule and so on, and everything will be consistent. If you try and sort of take something that's been converted that isn't quite right and make it the current version, then you tend to, you have to deal with inconsistencies or maybe a link that doesn't work. So in terms of speed for conversion, all I want to emphasize is, yes, that everything will come across. It won't necessarily drop exactly the way you want it into your sandbox. But if you design the course and put in all the placeholders, so if I go back to my live course, and I have to make sure I don't show you any student work, but here are quizzes, for instance. So I started the semester, these were placeholders, right? I have 4 quizzes. I knew the dates they'd be due, when they'd open. I hadn't written the quizzes yet. When they were converted, I usually use question pools. They came across as, set questions. So I had to edit it a bit. You can do all that editing as you approach the deadline for that item. You don't have to do all of that up front. But what you do want to do is make sure that you have the items there, set all the dates and points appropriately, and then you can add them to modules and then students can see them. So it's much easier to do the structure of the course first, and then bring in the converted items, or recreate, converted items. You can go cut and paste the text from your favorite forum topic question, or recreate the quiz with the question pool that you like. So that was what I just wanted to sort of emphasize and see if there are any questions. So it's not really about a particular item in Canvas, it's more about how to approach the conversion process.
Let's see, Alan and Wolf.
Yeah, real
Wolf had a
quickly,
question.
so Danielle, so it drops from, so where you're saying converted, it's converting over from Sakai, right?
Yeah, so any course
So-
that anyone's asked to have converted will go into a sandbox area in
So it
Canvas.
doesn't go from Sakai to your live class, it goes to the
Mm-mm.
sandbox.
No,
Then
and
have
you
to
don't
move
want it
everything
to.
yourself?
To be honest, you don't want it to.
Why?
Because then you have to go and hunt and peck every single item and make sure that there's no unintended items in your course with dates that might be wrong, things that might be turned on that you didn't realize were turned on.
Okay, I thought it was going to go into the live course and then you just fix it or move things or
No.
take things out.
No,
No,
and
To me, that's more work to do it in the sandbox.
no, let me just say this, colleagues. I've been clear kind of from the beginning that this would not be a plug and play process with the movement of Sakai content into Canvas. The plan has always been for the faculty to create the structure of the course, as Danny has suggested, and Kathleen's going to show you next, and then go in to the area where the K-16 content is, and to build your course that way. This is a cleaner way to build your courses out with the content. It may seem like more work, but it was never going to be a plug and play process. And I've said that in every presentation that I've shared with the campus community.
All right,
All right.
thank you.
Okay, Wolf.
Yes, two things, I guess. First of all, I mean, I've been building my course for this term, and it is actually really easy to start out with the structure and move from there. And maybe in the next presentation, we will talk about this too. One thing I really, really liked is when you, as Danielle as was suggested, when you actually create your quizzes and give the end dates, and even though if you don't have them populated, they will show up on the calendar, which means students can much better plan.
Yes.
So there's absolutely no question when a quiz will be held, because the second you have created a placeholder for the quiz with the date, it shows up on the calendar.
Okay.
assignments. So it's the calendaring feature is much better in Canvas than Sakai.
And that'll be better for the students in terms of engagement, so that they will know exactly when their assignments are due. Everything will be color-coded on the right-hand side of the screen with the calendar. And so the students will be able to see the assignments, quizzes, etc., when those things are due. Now we're going to turn our attention to the Design Plus Showcase. Kathleen is going to explain the use of the multi-tool tool that will allow you to set your course up and show some Design Plus examples.
Great, thanks, Connie. So as Danny was just sharing, and as some of our other colleagues have talked about today, modules are really the central tool of Canvas that you will use to organize your course content into weeks, units, or whatever organizational structure you use in your course. So with modules, you're going to create a linear flow that students will kind of go through, and it will guide them through your course content. And it essentially creates a one-stop shop, or kind of a table of contents that students can use to move through your course. There's also the ability to set module requirements, which creates a dynamic and interactive checklist for students so that they can monitor their progress through a module and through the course. And so, as we were just talking about, the multi-tool is a tool in Canvas that can help you rapidly populate your course shell with your course content by creating your modules, setting up pages that you'll use to share content and information, and also creating your course activities like assignments, quizzes, discussions, etc. So what I wanted to say today, I have on the screen here the multi-tool up. And there's a couple of different aspects of the multi-tool, but today we're going to focus on the template builder and the module builder. So first I want to show you the template builder. So let me make this a little bit larger so you can see it. So this is the template builder, and I want to kind of go down here to show you that we already have some existing templates that are set up for you to use. So if you have imported one of the templates from the Canvas Commons into your course shell or into your sandbox, you'll have access to all of these templates. And so they're already set up and they're in a nice format, which is fully accessible and uses mobile first design. So there's kind of some additional benefits behind the scenes to using them, but it just kind of saves you some time of preparing these pages. You also have the ability to add template pages. So maybe you have videos in each module of your course and you want to create a page for that. That can be done. You can also modify these templates. So for example, I have a learning materials template up here. Maybe you're using a textbook in your course and you pretty much have a chapter a week. You can kind of go in ahead of time and fill in that textbook information on the template, and it just saves you time of, you don't have to type out the textbook title every single week or module. Just kind of saves you some time there, so that's nice. So after you sort of establish your templates and make any adjustments that you might need, the next thing you can turn to is the multi-tool itself and using the module builder. So I have that kind of already set up here, but you can see this module builder is a way that you can kind of lay out all your modules and put in all the different elements of the modules right from one page without having to create a bunch of different separate items. So what I've done here is I filled this out ahead of time just to save us a little bit of time today, but I've established a module pattern here, and this can be totally adjusted to meet your needs. So you can see here, you can set a module prefix. I've selected week from this menu here, but you could also choose lesson, you could choose module, outcome, part, lots of different options there. You can say how many modules you want to create. So if you want to do a module for every week of your course, you can fill in 15 there. And you can also set the number that you wanted to start with. So that's nice because if you already, made a module and then you want to come in and start with module 2 and kind of establish a structure, you can use the tool for that as well. But you can see here, I've just kind of populated this with some items that I know in this particular course that I'm thinking of are going to repeat each week or in each module. In this case, it's weeks. So you can see here, I have some headers. These are just some ways that I can sort of give some organization and structure to my module. And then I also have some pages that I'm going to use. So I want, at the beginning of each module, I want to give an overview and a to-do list. So I've selected my template and connected it, over here from my menu. I want to put in learning materials each week. Then I'm going to have week activities, week in review, and I'll have kind of a wrap-up section. So once I'm happy with that, and here I'll just kind of show you that I can move things around. I can pull stuff over from this side to kind of set up my structure that I'm going to use week to week. Once I'm happy with that, I'll click this generate module list button. And I just set it up to do 3 modules for this example. But you'll see if we scroll down now, it went ahead and created 3 modules for me. And now the next step is for me to kind of customize each week. So I can come in and I can give this a particular title. And I could also say, maybe in my first week, I actually have 2 discussions. So I'm going to add in a second discussion. I'm going to drag it up here. I can also indent it a little bit. And then I can fill in the details for that discussion. So, maybe I'm going to have personal introductions in week 1. And you can also see here, it's really nice. This is another time saver. I can pull that template in. I can even specify how many points this is worth and how I want to display the grade. So this is all stuff that you can do within Canvas discussions, but it's really nice here at this stage to kind of lay everything out. And this is what Danny and I think Wolf were also discussing of, even if you don't fill in all the details for it, you at least have the shell there so that it will appear on the calendar, and it's going to kind of save you some time of creating all these items. I could go ahead and do that for all the other weeks that I've set up here of just sort of personalizing things, making adjustments as I need to. Maybe in week 2, I'm going to add in an assignment. And once I've got that all set up how I want, it's saving my progress right now. But once it saves, I can click add modules to course. And this multi-tool is going to go ahead and create all those items for me based on what I've set up here. So we'll see if it saves in the next minute or so. But basically, if I click add modules to course and I go back into my course modules, I'm going to see everything that I created in this tool listed out there. And I've already sort of got all my course structure ready to go. I've saved a lot of time by using templates, so I won't have as much information to fill in. And it kind of gives you a structure for setting up your course. So this is available to everybody in Canvas. And what we would love to do is to support you in using this tool. So in a moment in the chat, I'm going to put in the names of all the instructional designers on the SELT team, along with our emails and the schools that we're supporting. But we would love to meet with you kind of in a one-on-one consultation to help you set up your course. Maybe you kind of already have the list of how you want your course site to look and how you want to lay out your modules, and we can quickly put that together for you. Last thing I'll mention is that if you are reusing elements from Sakai, which of course you would if it was an existing course, you do also have the ability, if you have shared those assignments to your new course site, to just select those from a drop-down menu. So I'm just in my sandbox now, so I don't have any of those to show you, but if I already had a group discussion set up that I wanted to reuse, I could just select it from the list here and it would just automatically pop into my module. So this is a really nice time-saving feature. We did not have this in place for our folks who are teaching in the fall or who are teaching in the spring right now. So they set up their courses manually, but I hope that when those folks see this tool, they're excited to think about all the ways that it can really save you time with setting up your courses.
Okay. All right. Any questions from what Kathleen has shown? She is going to put the names of the instructional design colleagues in the chat. I'm going to also show them on the screen what we have done, or what I've done in terms of the project. The schools have instructional designers to support them. So Kathleen is working with the MSB and CPA, Olivia is working with CAS, and Zara is working with law. And also I want to mention I'll get to you, Julie. And also I want to mention 2 other colleagues. Josh Collin is doing a great job as our LMS administrator. And Damon Baker, he also assists us with different tasks related to the course design and creation process. Yes, yes, Julie.
This was a question for Kathleen. When will we get access to this tool that you were just describing? Because I just popped onto my site and went, I have typed everything all semester. That would be really awesome.
Yeah, so Julie, as a member of CAS, if you connect with Olivia, she can help you put it into your course and just kind of do a little bit more in-depth training of what I just offered, so that you can, get started with using it.
Yeah, because we have the tool available now. Are there any other questions? Okay. What I would like to just share briefly before we close out our upcoming training schedules. We are repeating all of the workshops that we had earlier in the semester. Our training schedule will go from April 10th to June 15th. We'll be repeating all of the modules that we did offer. The colleagues are available, and the colleagues, I mean the instructional design team, including Bev Horick, who you met earlier today, will be available for consultations as well. And certainly we still will have the Growing with Canvas course available for people that are not able to come to a training session, and we will continue to record the sessions that we have, such as the one today. We will also be offering training for non-academic users, including the law administrative staff, academic advisors, library staff, and members of OTS as well. Each of these groups have different needs, but I thought this would be important for you all to know, so that there will be additional supports in place throughout the schools and across the campus for work that the faculty have to do. Let's see. All right. And then once again, we'll have the course migration training in terms of working with Design Plus and with the tool that Kathleen just explained as well. Okay, so
Connie, I'm sorry. I should have passed it over to Olivia after my presentation, but she was going to show the Design Plus examples.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. Let me do that. Let me stop the share. Olivia. Yes, please do that. Forgive me. I
Okay.
got too enthusiastic. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's just something really quickly that we put together in a document, just a couple of screenshots to show you all what we've been working on behind the scenes as far as creating themes for the templates that you'll be using in Canvas. This first theme is called the Circle Left To theme homepage. And once you get in and you start working with Design Plus, like Julie, when we meet, I'm going to show you where to go to get your theme. This is one of the themes that you'll find that's available. And it's just a regular theme. This is a class I think Kyle created. And I just changed his home screen really quickly. I took an example of it, changed his home screen really quickly. I kept the border of the image that he wanted on the home screen. Everything is the same. The only thing you'll notice that's different from the template that everyone was using from the beginning is that there's a darker border here. The buttons are on the right, and these actually swing out and will tell you what it is. So this one says start here. This one says student resources. And then you'll have like this bubble type of sectioning right here, and that'll be what the home page will look like if you choose Circle Left To theme. This is what it looks like. Oh, and please let me know if this is too tiny for you. I tried to enlarge it a little more. This is what it looks like when you're editing the page. So you'll already see the buttons out there, and you can click on each one and change. Well, we wouldn't want you to change what they say. We want to keep them standardized so that the students are not confused. This will be their course navigation. Instead of it being on the bottom like it is on the template right now that you are using, it's on the right. And then there's some other ones that the buttons will be on the bottom the same way. So this particular theme is Square Right To, and you see the buttons are beneath the image, the border, the banner image, just like the regular template. And then you still have the bottom footer image. The only thing that's different is the way the buttons are set up, the way they look, and that these black borders are now included. Okay. Also, you can change your home screen to add a module list. So students can quickly navigate to specific course modules from the home page, and dates can be added so that the current module is highlighted for easy reference. And this is an example of that. This home page still has the buttons from the original template, but you'll notice down here in the blue rectangle, the module links are located on the home page, so the student can quickly click to get to each module instead of having to go to the left navigation and clicking on modules and going to each one. There's also module buttons and module items that can be added to the home page, which would be module buttons corresponding module items. And this allows the students to quickly navigate to specific modules on the home page as well. And this is what this looks like. You'll see the banner is still the same with the buttons, but as you scroll down, now you see the weekly modules set up differently. The getting started, the weekly modules are kind of tabbed. And when you click on one tab, it'll show you all of the information or all of the pages that'll be located within that module. And the students can quickly navigate from the home page where they want to get to. Okay, so then you have module elements. This is a little more advanced, but it also helps to kind of chunk the information for students. The first one we'll look at is an accordion, which is a series of vertical panels that can be expanded by clicking the title. And accordions will open up one at a time. So right now, this is a panel that says Canvas. This Zoom panel is open, so you can see all of the information that's contained in there. And then you'll have the Panopto and then the voice thread. So all of these can collapse and expand one at a time so that you don't have a huge, long run-on page of information. The students can click on what they find interesting or what they need to know. They'll just see that information and they can close it up. They don't have to look at a whole wall of text. There's also expanders, which are like accordions, but you can have multiple panels open at one time. So you can click, this is really tiny, but right here in the top left corner, it says expand all and then collapse all. So you can either click on the panel itself. There's a drop down and then you'll be able to open the information and see everything within that panel. Or you can expand all of them and you see everything that's located on this page with all of the panels open, or you can collapse them all and then you'll just see a condensed version of the panels. And it'll just look like the title, the number, the title in each panel. Then you have tabs, which are also like accordions, but the titles appear in one row like folder tabs. Tabs are a great layout option when you want to present multiple items on a page or share steps in a process. So what you're looking at right now is the Getting Around tab. And this should be in everyone's course right now. So you'll be able to see this. And this is the course navigation tab that we're looking at. But in the live course, you can click on technical requirements as a tab and netiquette as a tab, and you'll see all of the information that is contained in that tab. Then you can also add the module progress bar. There are a couple of them that are available. Module progress bars can be added to the top or the bottom of a module item so that students can track their progress through a module with a visual cue. Some of the modules that have long titles may start to look a little condensed. So I would test out what progress bar I would want to use and see how it looks to the student. There are 3 different options that are available. Test them out, play with them, see which one you like. If you don't like it, don't use it. But it is a good option for the students to be able to see where they're at in their module in the course, and see where they left off at. So if they go out of the course, they can come back and they can see quickly with just a visual that this is where they left off, and they can just jump. These are interactive, so they can jump to that area. You can also add quick checks as ungraded selected response questions through which students can check their understanding. And that's also an item that would be included with Design Plus. So this is just a little question that you can add in the course, and you can add the answers, almost like a little mini quiz, but it's just in the course single by itself. And I think that's it. Did I leave anything out?
I don't think you did.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Well, colleagues, that is all that we had for you today. We know that we provided you with a lot of information. I would like to thank our speakers today, Danny Fowler, Wolf Petcher, Donche Mushanga, and Julie Simon for their presentations today. I want to thank the CELT team as well. The Small But Mighty group, Kathleen, Olivia, Josh, Damon, Sarah, who's not here, and myself and Bev. We want to just thank you for working with us. Please reach out to us, colleagues, for help. You know who the instructional design team member assigned to your department is, And also each of the schools have 2 faculty fellows that will be available to answer your questions as well. In closing, I want to say more information and more training will be forthcoming. K-16 is, working to migrate these course sections. We have a lot of them done. And so we're going to be starting another phase of training as well, but you will get more information about that within the next few days. Are there any questions of me before we close? All right, well, CELT team, please stay on, colleagues. Thank you for coming. And you have, we went over 1 minute, but we thank you for all that you do for the students at the University of Baltimore.